Well, as people know, I'm blind, so please be my eyes, Davy boy.
OK. I once had to call 999 for a woman who couldn't speak English. Unfortunately, I couldn't see what the emergency was, and she couldn't describe it.
Please, Steve.
How long ago was this?
This is going back quite some time, Caroline.
Yeah.
Let's say 20 years.
Were you with her, or was this a stranger?
No, this was a stranger. I mean, she literally didn't speak any English.
What noises was she making that led you to believe she needed help?
I was walking along, minding my own business, when from out of a house, a woman came screaming and grabbed me, and she dragged me through the house into the back room of the house, and in the room, there was a massive hole.
To be honest with you, Chris, this just sounds like a Tinder date, to be real.
I could see a little bit back then, just to give you some context. So my eyesight has deteriorated. So there was a massive hole and there was a stepladder on its side, and I deduced that someone fell off the ladder and went through the hole.
Had the fall created the hole, or was the hole already there?
Well, then it'd be in the shape of the guy.
That's true. Very good point.
That is right.
I forgot about the rules of Tom and Jerry.
So I phoned 999 and I explained to the person on the end that my eyesight was very, very poor and I wasn't able to tell what was at the bottom of the hole. And so the person asked on the phone whether I was with anybody that could see who was at the bottom of the hole. And I said, yeah, but you're not going to believe this.
So what happened?
I said I'd imagine what you need is a fire engine and an ambulance.
And also, I guess you didn't know the address.
I told her, I don't know the address, but I can tell you to get here from the Waitrose. She suggested that I take the foreign lady outside to the road sign and see if I could get her to spell it for me. And so through a series of enthusiastic mimes, I managed to gesture to her that I needed her to read me the letters on the road sign.
Could you recreate the mime with David as the distressed woman?
I'm doing a distressed face.
Oh, well, that helps.
Yeah.
So I gestured down that I can't see the road sign. You have to read the road sign and me. So she said, B, and I'd say to the lady on the phone, B, and I'd say, I think that was an E. I'd go,
You'd accidentally stood on her toe.
We got through the road name and she was able to send the fire brigade and the ambulance to the right road, and through some miracle of human biology, he was still alive after all the time it took me to get to the bottom of this problem.
Caroline, what are you thinking?
It's not adding up for me. If someone comes shouting at you, you just run past. Someone else will sort it out.
And how long have you been working with the Samaritans?
I think it's a fake story, this. On account of this, I can't think why the fire brigade would have any kind of kit that dealt with, descending into an abyss. I mean, they usually go from the ground up. They've got ladders.
I do think, John, it's possible to take a ladder... and I don't know if you can get your head around this, but put it down...
I can't see it. How would that... I can't see that.
John, if you think that the fire brigade isn't equipped or indeed willing to deal with crises that happen below ground level, what emergency service is?
Yeah.
Is there a fourth one?
Mountain Rescue!
Mountain Rescue.
Mountain Rescue!
Thank you.
On the contrary, they're even more obsessed with upwardsness.
No!
We're the Mountain Rescue, we never go down!
No. There's no point going up there and going, we've saved you, but you can make your own way back down. So you're saying lie.
Lie.
They're both saying lie. I'll go with my teammates.
You're going to go with the team.
Yeah.
They're saying it's a lie. Chris, truth or lie?
I honestly had to get her to spell the road sign out to me, guys. True.
It's true. Chris did call 999 for an emergency he couldn't see.
I eat an apple a day in a very particular way.
Right, Lee's team.
How long have you eaten an apple a day?
Oh, probably coming up to a year, 9, 10 months maybe.
10 months. So what is this particular way?
Well, the usual way to eat an apple...
They don't need to cover that, we know.
Well, I mean, Stephen's from Scotland, he mightn't be aware of eating fruit. So... But if you go in through the side and you eat around the core, and then you put the core in the bin.
Yeah. You're not going to tell me you eat the core first, because we're not going to believe you.
No, but I do eat the whole thing, because I read from a very reputable news source that 90% of the goodness is in the core.
90%
of the goodness of an apple, all the benefits.
Is that little bit in the middle?
In the middle, that's where all the goodness is, all the benefits. It does so much for your health.
I've been chucking the core to the dog. The dog now is an Olympic athlete. Now it explains it.
So, Chris, you eat the apple, and where most of us then would be left with the core and would discard it, you just carry on.
No. The way that everyone eats an apple is fundamentally wrong. So you don't go in through the side. You need to go in through the bum.
The opposite end to the stalk.
So if you go in through the bum, you don't notice the core because it's distributed equally amongst sweet, juicy apple. So you don't notice all of the goodness.
What the hell are you talking about?
This is great.
I mean, if you eat an apple from the side and you're left with the core, all you've got is core. But if you eat it through the bum, up that way, you're getting a little bit of core.
Why don't you eat it through the side, but just keep chewing through the core?
Because then it's just core at the end.
Yeah, because
now
then you've got to go right through the middle.
Oh, you've got to go through the ride through the core before you get back to apple again. Whereas if you eat the bum end, you're taking more apple each bite.
Yeah.
Who told you that the core is the best part of the apple?
I don't want this to detract from the authenticity of the story in any way, but it was on Apple News.
Apple News?
Apple News, as in the tech company.
Oh, I see. I genuinely thought you subscribed to an Apple newspaper.
Do you know what, Lee, as well, you would be amazed. 2 years ago, I found out that I'd been eating a banana upside down my whole life.
What do you mean upside down?
Your instinct is you get the stalk and you snap the stalk.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Now, and if you open it the other way, it
looks more... But if you hold on to the stalk and then
more pleasing, isn't it?
Yeah, you hold on to the stalk and twist the nipple. And...
Oh, hang on. How can that be the wrong way? You're still eating the whole banana.
Because if you bend the stem, you run the risk of mushing the end of the banana. So what I'm saying is, Lee, if you eat an apple from the bum, there's so many benefits, apparently.
What's the benefit?
Everything except for curing blindness.
So, what are you going to say? Truth or lie?
I'm not buying that.
You're not buying it?
No.
You're buying it?
No.
I'm not having that. With your apple nonsense.
OK, Chris, truth or lie?
I'm here to change the world, Rob. It's true.
During lockdown, I bought a pogo stick to use as a home-school teaching aid.
All right, Lee's team.
OK, so, Chris, have you got children?
Just the one.
And this was for, what, your homeschooling PE or something?
Yes. When we did homeschooling, we split up the tasks. I was in charge of PE and maths, and my wife was in charge of reading and art for obvious reasons.
At what age is your child?
During lockdown, she was 6.
And do you do anything else for PE or just pogo stick?
I'm quite a lazy guy, Lee. So I realised that when you're on a pogo stick and you're bouncing away, what you're trying to do is see how many you can do.
How many repetitions without touching the ground?
Yeah, and maths
You have
is
to
also...
touch the ground, Lee, to be fair. Otherwise it's levitating, which we still haven't mastered.
I appreciate you said it for comic effect, Rob, but you know exactly what I meant.
Well, what I tried to do is I realised that how many is also what you do often in maths. And I could consolidate all of my teaching efforts into one tidy little package of minimal effort. So I invented Pogo Maths.
OK.
And you just shout out some sums and they have to bounce out the answers.
But are they experienced in pogo sticking? Because it's quite hard.
Well, I mean, it does help if you can use a pogo stick first, so you have to get over that hurdle, but that's, you know...
You have to get over a hurdle as well.
I appreciate you said that for comic effect.
Thank you, Rob.
We have a pogo stick.
Yeah, well, it's Chris's card. Make him do it.
I don't think the BBC's got enough money to cover the insurance on this.
Don't worry, I've got this covered, Chris. Like the card, let David do it for you.
There is a pogo stick behind you, I believe.
Oh, my gosh.
There it is. Don't do it there, and make sure you're 2 metres away from me.
Right.
Down you go. Now, Chris.
Hang on, let me have a practice go first.
He's not doing
This is
it,
going
Chris.
really well, Chris. Dead easy.
Are you ready?
Yes.
What is 8 minus 5?
OK. The problem I've got now is if I bounce and fall off after, say, 2, you don't know if I'm bad at pogo or bad at maths. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Give him.
Well, this is good because you've got to get them all right if you want to do dinner tonight. I've got one.
So let's just see how many I can do.
Yeah, let's see how many you can do.
I'll try and jump up onto that. How about that? Don't do it, Lee, don't do it!
1,
no,
2,
don't do it.
3, 4,
Don't.
5,
Come round,
6,
come round.
7.
I've got no idea what's going on.
So, having experienced it,
Yes.
do you think he's telling the truth?
What do we think?
I didn't know they still did pogo sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Imagine how hard you could hit the ball with a spring-mounted snooker cue. I mean,
That's a good point.
yeah.
So, what are you thinking about this story?
The more I think about it, the more I think it wouldn't work because the white ball's going to spin back.
No. We're talking now about the maths and the pogo.
Right.
Do you reckon it's true?
I think it's true that Chris is lazy.
I'm not really blind, it just gets me out of doing things.
Listen, tell me about it, mate. I do it all the time myself. How do you think I park so close to Sainsbury's?
I think he's lying.
You think he's lying?
I think he's lying as
you
well,
think he's
mate,
lying? We'll go with my team and say he's lying.
OK, saying it's a lie. So, Chris, maths on the pogo stick. Was it true or was it a lie?
Pogo maths, copyright, Chris McCausland, 2020. True.
Oh! Sorry.
Why do things remind you? Yes, it's true. Chris did use a pogo stick to teach his daughter maths.
OK, they offered me this in Braille, but as blind people go, I'm pretty rubbish and I can't read any of that nonsense. So, Lee, will you please do me the honours and read what is on that card?
I certainly will. For a whole month, I thought my neighbour was ignoring me, and he thought I was ignoring him, until he found out I was blind, and I found out he was deaf.
David's team.
So, he's your next-door neighbour, is that right?
Do you need me to read it again?
He's my neighbour, David.
Right.
There's 3 flats. I live in the middle, and he lives on the bottom.
And who lives upstairs?
A policeman.
And
He can't speak.
so you thought he was being standoffish?
I thought he was being the rudest person that I've ever met. I was there, for example, on the day that he moved in, and I said hello to him, and he completely ignored me.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he went...
Well, I don't know what you're doing, and that... Gabby, you have perfectly highlighted exactly what probably happened.
So he's deaf,
Yes.
but he can see.
Yeah, otherwise he'd be in real trouble, really.
Just because, wouldn't he see you saying hello to him?
Over the course of a month, there were separate incidents where we each thought the other was being rude. So, the first time that he was moving in, he was carrying boxes into the house, and I was halfway up the stairs. I shouted hello to him, and he never said anything back to me. And I thought, that's a bit rude,
And
isn't
you
it?
knew he was there just through hearing. You heard the sound and you
Yeah,
knew,
I mean-
that'll be the new bloke arriving.
Contrary to popular belief, deaf people do make a noise. But other occasions, I would be outside, like, doing something with the car. I like packing the car, unpacking the car, maybe doing
Not
some...
driving the car.
No, me wife has to do that for entirely legal reasons, Rob. I reckon I could probably do the motorways if they had them things off the bowling alley down the side. A number of times, he'd come back to the flat and he'd, like, waved and smiled at me and I'd not known he was there and completely blanked him. And then I'd heard him walk past and I'd shouted hello to him, but I was talking to his back then and he never answered me. And this went on for quite a while, really.
How did it resolve itself? Yeah. Did the policeman intervene and sort it out?
I called the police and he came down. And then I had a hunch he must be deaf. I guessed that was the only possible, plausible option.
I'm exactly like that with my audiences when they're not laughing.
I actually bumped into his mum, who was visiting, and I said, like, he's deaf, isn't he? And she said, yeah.
That's a bold opening gambit.
We have each other's mobile numbers now, and so we're able to
Hang on,
send...
let me think about this for a second. How does he answer the phone?
We have text messages, Lee.
Right, you know the next question, don't you?
So... My phone talks, it reads everything out, and if... I mean, just to give you an insight, even the emojis, if you use an emoji, it tells you what the emoji is, and the smiley face, the main smiley face, specifically for blind people, that one is called smiling face with normal eyes. Yeah. I don't know if I'm expected to use the smiling face with sunglasses, but it turns out as well, which took me by surprise, that he's Australian, which you associate it with the accent, don't you? But, like, he's just Australian in his head. I mean...
OK, let's... this is becoming odd.
I mean, if any of this is offensive, they don't have to put it on the subtitles.
John, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm thinking, I don't know, I don't believe it.
You think he made that up?
What do you think, Gabby?
There's lots about it that I don't think is true.
I believe it. I believe it, but
You believe it, they don't.
No, I'm not.
I'm not going to overrule my team, though.
No, you haven't got the strength of character.
I do.
I don't feel strong enough about it to overrule.
No, I mean, it is plausible, it is plausible.
OK, we're going to say true.
Right, they're saying it's true. Chris, truth or lie?
It is 100% true.
Yes, it's true. Chris and his neighbour really did think they were ignoring each other. Chris is first up tonight.
All these years, I have been pretending to be blind. If only. Lee, would you read that for me, please?
Every night, I use an unusual technique to make sure I wake up on time in the morning.
Ooh. All right, David's team.
OK, so... what is the unusual technique?
The usual way of making sure you wake up in the morning at the right time would be to set an alarm clock.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard of that.
OK,
So, and you do something different. Well, we don't need to know what. I think we'll go true.
What I've done is I have trained my brain to wake itself up...
No, you haven't.
...at the right time.
By doing what?
When I'm lying in bed, I will bang out the time on the pillow with my head.
Right.
Saying the hours for the time that I want to wake up.
Yeah.
And that subconsciously programs the time.
Chris?
Yes.
Are you all right?
And how accurate is this?
50-50.
Where did this idea come to you from?
I read it in a book.
What was the name of the book?
The book was called Last Man Standing. It was a fictional book, David.
It was a fictional book from which you were taking lifestyle tips.
Well, do you know when you read something and it sticks in your head as an idea to try?
This may help you, David. Give us a demonstration, if you would, of the severity of the headbang. You're settling down at the end of the night.
OK, Lee, I'm going to turn around a bit and use you as a pillow.
All right.
Oh, so I'm in
Put
bed.
my arm there, yeah.
Oh, my pillow's firmer than that. So I want to get up at 7:30 in the morning, so I'm like, I go 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and if I want to get up at 7:30, I go 7:30.
Chris, I don't know whether you've got a partner or a wife or somebody who shares
He
a
used to
bed
have a wife,
with
he
you.
headbutted her to death.
Is there anybody else in the bed with you, Chris?
So I mean, I tour a lot.
So some nights yes, some nights no.
I tour a lot, I'm away a lot, but when I'm at home, I do have a wife. I mean, I have a wife all the time.
What are you thinking, David's team? Alex, what do you think?
Oh, it's so unbelievable. It's believable.
Yeah, and also I do think that if you tell yourself you need to wake up at a certain time, the chances of waking up then are higher than you'd think. It's not totally random.
Well, let's give it a go tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
You make it
realise we were
sound as
gonna-
if you're sharing a bed. So I think you're saying it's true.
Well, are we happy to say true? Yeah, I think we're going to go with true.
OK, Chris, they think you were telling the truth. Were you, or was it a lie?
Everyone will be trying it tonight. It's true.
Yes!